In just the first 20 seconds, you might have sensed something was different. Song Weilong's name was back in the news. Not because of his new project, nor because of any major controversy, but because of something far more mysterious. Zhao Jinmai, on the other hand, looked radiant, full of joy, as if the world was on her side. What was really going on? It all started with a simple moment that quickly went viral. The camera caught an unusual expression, a gesture that sparked speculation, and within hours, the internet was awash with theories. Fans began to notice a change in Song Weilong. Usually calm and charismatic, this time something felt different. Not in a bad way, but enough to make people wonder. Comments began to appear on various forums. Some said he seemed more reserved. Others felt his expression hid something unsaid. But what made things even more interesting was the contrast with Zhao Jinmai. At a major event, he appeared with a radiant aura. His smile wasn't just a formality. It was genuine, light, and full of energy. Many said, "She looks happier than ever." But why? Was it just a coincidence? Or was there something connecting these two stars behind the scenes? Some fans began to piece together the timeline of their public appearances. The time, the place, even small details like expressions and body language. Everything was analyzed meticulously. And this is where the theories began to emerge. Some believed that Song Weilong's change was related to the pressures of the industry. The entertainment world never really gave people room to breathe. But others saw it from a different angle, that it wasn't about pressure, but something more personal. Meanwhile, Zhao Jinmai looked like someone who had just gone through a crucial phase in her life. Confident, elegant, and free. Several clips from the show showed her interacting with those around her. It wasn't awkward. It wasn't fake. It all felt natural. This led many to wonder, did her happiness come from within, or was it due to something happening off camera? When these two narratives are juxtaposed, one full of mystery, one full of light, the public can't help but connect them. Are they related? Or is this just a coincidence magnified by netizens' imaginations? What's clear is that public attention is now focused on their every move. Every post, every appearance, even every small expression, everything is analyzed. And the more people watch, the more questions arise. Song Weilong remains silent. No clarification, no statement. His silence only intensifies the curiosity. On the other hand, Zhao Jinmai doesn't directly address any of the speculation. She simply continues to shine and shines even brighter. Some say, sometimes answers don't come from words, but from a change in attitude. And perhaps that's what we're seeing now. Two stars, two different energies, and one unsolved mystery. Is this the beginning of something big, or just a temporary phase that will soon pass? What's certain is that this story isn't over yet. And as usual, it is the unseen parts that are the most interesting to uncover. But the longer this situation dragged on, the more it felt like there were layers of the story that remained untouched. The public only saw snippets, smiles, glances, and silences, without truly knowing what was happening behind the scenes of Song Weilong's life. Some entertainment observers began to highlight how changes in a person's demeanor in front of the camera often reflected something deeper. It wasn't just an image strategy, but an emotional response to something real. And at the same time, the positive aura radiating from Zhao Jinmai became increasingly difficult to ignore. She not only appeared confident, but also comfortable in her own skin, a change that didn't just happen. Speculation grew. Some believed the two were at very different points in their lives, one facing something, while the other was just getting through it. But others saw another possibility, that perhaps, indirectly, they were influencing each other, whether through projects, encounters, or even relationships that were never publicly announced. The internet, as usual, became a space where all these theories came to life. From the plausible to the downright wild, everything blends into one powerful undercurrent that's hard to contain. Interestingly, the lack of official confirmation actually makes the story even more compelling. When there are no answers, imagination takes over, and often, imagination is far more compelling than reality. Some loyal fans have begun to choose not to speculate too much. They prefer to enjoy each moment as it unfolds, without trying to decipher the meaning behind it. But for others, the mystery is the most compelling part. Because in the world of entertainment, sometimes it's not what meets the eye that matters most, but what's hidden beneath the surface. As time passed, the intensity of public attention did not subside. In fact, every new appearance by Song Weilong was met with increasing curiosity. People began to read deeper than just what met the eye. The look in his eyes was often considered different. Not empty, but like someone contemplating something they couldn't yet express. Small details like this became the subject of lengthy discussions among fans. On the other hand, Zhao Jinmai's presence always brought a contrasting energy. She seemed lighthearted, even in formal situations. Many felt that she was in the best phase of her life. This contrast created an increasingly powerful narrative, as if two life paths were running parallel, but with different emotional directions. And the public, subconsciously, continued to connect the dots. Some entertainment industry analysts even began discussing this phenomenon as an example of how public perception can be formed from mere moments. There was no official statement, no confirmation, yet the story felt so real. This demonstrates the powerful influence of expressions and body language in shaping opinions. A single smile can be interpreted as happiness, while a single silence can spark 1,000 questions. And perhaps beneath all this, there's a deeper lesson, that a public figure's life is never entirely their own. Every change, no matter how small, can become public consumption. Yet, there's still a boundary that can't be penetrated. What really happens behind the scenes is known only to those who live it. The outside world can only guess. Ultimately, this mystery may never be truly answered. But that's precisely what keeps it alive, a never-ending story that keeps everyone waiting and always wondering. And just when the story seemed to be winding down, small details emerged that rekindled curiosity. A short video, a candid portrait, or even a pause in an interview, all of which reignited discussions about Song Weilong. Some fans began to sense a more subtle but consistent change. Nothing dramatic, but a gradual shift that only those paying close attention could detect. Was this a sign of maturity? Or a reflection of something unfinished? Meanwhile, Zhao Jinmai's steps in the entertainment world seemed to be growing steadily. Each appearance seemed to reinforce a new image, more mature, more confident, and more daring to express herself. She was no longer simply going with the flow, but was beginning to seem to be taking control of her own career direction. And this earned her even more admiration. Amidst all this, one question arose repeatedly. Was the apparent happiness truly simple, or was it the result of a long, unseen journey? Because often, what appears to be happiness is the culmination of many things previously unknown to the public. The same is true of what appears to be change. It might not be something new, but rather something that has finally come to light after a long period of hiding. The story of these two figures has now become more than just gossip. It has become a reflection on how humans change, grow, and cope with life in the spotlight. And perhaps, without realizing it, we are not only observing them, we are also learning something about ourselves from how we understand their stories.